Good morning and welcome back to Muddy Feet. We're heading up the coast today targeting. Today's video is a little bit different. I wanted to share some of my favourite tips and tricks for fishing, and hopefully you'll find them useful too.
Proper live bait, we'll just pop them in this little rock pool here, keep them fresh. We'll take off our herring and put on a real live bait. That's much better, that's perfect size.
Tip number 1, knots. You don't need to know a lot of knots, you only need to know a few, but make sure that they're really good knots. These are my top 3 go-to fishing knots.
Thread the line through the eye of the hook, passing the tag end behind the main line, make a loop, just a folded loop, that's it. And then pass the tag end around both pieces of line and through that loop 5 times. And pull the tag end. The knot will roll up the line and then pull the main line to secure the knot to the eye. So when I'm using mono, I like to pull the uni knot semi-tight and then lubricate the knot a little bit. This is the knot that I use for attaching jig heads to my Traceline. So the first thing we do with this knot is we tie a granny knot in the line, but we don't pull it tight. Pass your tag end through the eye of your jig head, and then you pass that tag end down through the top of that loop and then up and around that main line 4 or 5 times. And then we take the tag end and we pass it back up from the bottom through our original granny knot. And then we pull the main line and the bottom line to secure the knot. Sometimes this knot needs a little bit of encouragement to slide into place properly. So that's the completed loop knot. Same deal when using any constricting knots on mono or fluorocarbon, lubricate the knot. Alright, the third knot that I want to show you guys today is the long liner snell. So you thread the line through the eye of the hook and using the 2 fingers on your left hand, secure it and hold the shaft of the hook at the same time. Take your tag end and go around the eye of the hook and wrap your way down the line. With 50-pound line I think I'd get about 8 wraps. With a line I might do a few less. And then you take the far end of your trace line and you thread it back through the eye of the hook and slowly pull it. When the knot snugs down, you see there's no choke point on the line. It's a very, very strong knot. This is one of my absolute favorites.
Number 2, use burley. Lots of burley. There's no such thing as too much burley. It takes some time to attract those larger fish and you've got to have some flavour in the water. Pretty closely related to tip number 2 is tip number 3. Don't move too quickly. If you spend the time setting up a good burley trail, make sure you stay the length. Know your spots well, choose wisely in the beginning and commit to your spot. Those bigger fish turn up at the end of the day or once the burley trail's been working for some time. Just the other day I was fishing in one of the local mussel farms in the harbour in Coromandel. There was a boat already fishing there. They stayed for about 30 minutes after I arrived and they left. Almost 10 minutes after they left, I caught a massive snapper. Later in the day, they arrived back to the same spot. They were very surprised when I showed them the fish that I'd managed to catch. Be patient, stay in your spot. So number 4, trace line, hook size and bait size. It all depends on how big are the fish that you're targeting and what is the terrain that you're fishing in. I always like to use fluorocarbon just for the invisibility factor. It's much harder for the fish to see and I try to use a line weight that is the minimum line weight that I can get away with in that area based on structure or what's around. So hook size. I like to use, when I'm targeting snapper for example, 8 to 10 baro and no smaller. I don't want to catch a lot of small fish. Table size fish can easily get down an 8 baro hook without a problem, and it reduces the chance of catching too many undersized fish. Bait size and bait selection are something that are quite hard for some people to figure out depending on what species you're targeting, but you have to think about what your target species main diet is and where you're fishing, what's available in that area. Bait size is really important. I want to catch big fish, so I like to use big baits. Tip number 5, don't forget to have fun. Laugh, learn new things, tell good stories, some true, some bullshit. Learn new tricks, teach tricks. We all have hard days fishing. Don't let that dishearten you. Most of all, have a really good time. The yellowtail, slimy mackies, the ones you were catching.
Yeah.
Use yellowtail mackerel for bait. Slimy mackies, number 1. And kahawai, use kahawai. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed our video, remember to like and subscribe for fortnightly content.
Yes!